Welcome to the show, and welcome to Glow So Bright. So many viewers have asked me, what is this particular belt I'm wearing? Why do I wear it? And where can I get one? Well, to answer that, this is a particular thing that I made to fulfill my own unique needs and requirements. And while this belt system is made from commercially available components or military surplus components, it isn't something you can find complete as one complete package. There are many types of belt systems out there in relation to firearms, but almost all of them do not fit my own particular needs and requirements. So I had to go and make something for myself, and with that, it is something that I like. I had to create a few compromises here and there, but it's something I enjoy using, and it's something I've been using for years without much changes to this particular system as a whole. And the only thing I've really done with it was swap out a few pouches here and there for better things that would fulfill my own particular needs. So let me go and show it. Okay, so what are my own requirements for a belt system? Well, I need something that can be worn either by itself or in conjunction with either a chest rig or body armor, can be worn over a set of clothing, whether it be a set of BDUs, cold weather clothing, or wet weather clothing, such as a poncho or a parka, or a multi-layered system. I can quickly draw magazines, both rifle and pistol, as well as my sidearm in a quick manner. Have a dump pouch to carry additional things, have medical on me, have a field knife or blade on me or a bayonet, carry water as well as ways to boil and treat water, such as water treatment pills or a way to start fire and boil things. Additional utilities such as night vision, a flashlight, and a multi-tool, and to be fairly comfortable to carry, which means that I don't like drop leg holsters, which are fatiguing to do when you're running and also can create an inconsistent draw. So I end up creating something like this, and it's something I've liked and I've been using for years. And the only thing I've done with it is just change one pouch for a slightly different pouch of a different shape, yet fulfills a very similar purpose or niche within that particular need or requirement I have for it. Yet it's something I couldn't find commercially available, and while this is made with commercially available parts or military surplus parts, it's something that you can't have as a complete system ready to go off the shelf, and it's something you must assemble yourself for your own particular needs. So let me go for what sort of solutions out there before, yet the compromises, the drawbacks I have identified with it. Some drawbacks I've identified is that with a lot of these competition rigs, such as the Safariland belt or Safariland quick release systems out there specifically for competition, such as magazine pouches or magnetic pouches, is that when the shooter is in a position where everything is filthy or crawling on the ground, pouches tend to fall off. That is not good.
All right, let me see.
On the yellow course, his mag broke free again, this time taking the whole QLS fork system with it. Because time is ticking, you can see him trying to read directions while fixing his mag pouch unsuccessfully. As he approaches two surprise threats, his 5-pound rifle pays off as he engages both targets one-handed.
Another issue I find is that a lot of these belts offer very, very, very limited sustainment capability. If you weigh the belts down, they get very uncomfortable, they may fall off the Velcro, and things out there such as water, for example, can get quite heavy. Another issue is that with the nature of these belts and the way they attach to the user, such as an outer belt velcroing to an inner belt, which is secured through belt loops found on trousers, is that oftentimes to use it properly, you either have to have an open jacket, which is not ideal for wet and cold environments, or it's a combat shirt where the combat shirt must be tucked within a set of trousers. Neither of which I particularly would like. But with that, with its very fast ability to go and draw a sidearm quickly, as well as retrieve ammunition quickly, it's something that makes sense for that niche of competition shooting or direct action. Oftentimes with direct action, a lot of these heavier pieces of equipment, such as, for example, additional utility equipment or water, would be found on a Special Forces operation team to be found more on the plate carrier system out there, or it can be found in the back of the plate carrier, which is handy and neat if you have a well-coordinated team out there that can draw things from the back of yourself or the back of another teammate out there and draw that necessary piece of equipment. With it, where if often I'm just by myself or I'm not operating with a tight-knit, coordinated team, or I'm not wearing the body armor at all, that can not be useful or a viable option for me. Let's go and take a look at things on the opposite side of the spectrum for sustainment belt systems out there. Let's go take a look. On the opposite side, we have our own sustainment belt systems out there. These are optimized more for field equipment, sustainment out in the field, and to carry a large amount of rifle magazines on the individual, as well as other utility items out there to last for a longer amount in the field. This will include things such as the British PLCE and Pattern 58 webbing, your American Alice or load-bearing vest in conjunction with the Alice pistol belt setups, and you have your own modernized systems such as the DZ Systems rigs out there. Rebel Spirit Operations has done an in-depth video on a modernized example of the rig. However, the compromises with that is that some of these systems aren't comfortable to wear with body armor, as well as the magazines are very slow. Drawing rifle magazines from these rigs can be a cumbersome process, and they have no provisions at all for a sidearm, which is something that I do not find acceptable for my own particular needs. So let's go and take a look at what I have in particular. So let's go take a look at what I have out here, and the core of it would be a HSGI slim padded belt. I find these for competition shooters as well as SWAT operators out there, and it's something that can be worn over a set of clothing. It's not dependent on securing to an inner belt that is secured to trouser belt loops. Yet I ran into some problems with it, is that once I start loading the belt with additional things, water, medical, utility, it becomes quite heavy, and then this whole entire system would just sag and slop around. It's not as tight as a competition or direct action belt system out there. That's a compromise I'm willing to make. So to do that, I need to have a set of suspenders to keep my belt up, but low profile enough for it to be worn underneath body armor. So what I found would be Cry low profile suspenders. While designed for the AVS belt system, I find to work well with standalone belts and belts that do not have provisions for loops out there, such as your surplus Marine Corps battle belt. And this particular belt can be worn by wrapping it around simply around the belt, and it can also be worn and woven through MOLLE. What's one additional benefit is that if I were to unbuckle and unfasten the belt, like if I have to take a dump, then the lower part of the system can be free. And that can be quite handy. And no, I'm not going to go pull my pants down and demonstrate it for the camera. So we have HSGI elastic belt pouches, and I don't like them to carry around pistol magazines, but they can be used for pistol magazines. However, they work great for non-firearm related items. I have a Leatherman Wave multi-tool, fits in here just right, as well as a slim flashlight, a Phoenix UC35. Multi-tool for cutting small things, or to use the pliers to fix my firearms malfunctions. Very, very, very versatile tool. Opening beer, opening cans of food. It's quite useful. Flashlight, in case the weapon mounted light goes down, or if I want to identify objects in the dark without drawing a firearm and pointing the firearm at it, which might not be appropriate for all circumstances. Here we have a Safariland ALS holster on an ALS fork with an ALS mid-ride drop platform. Not a true drop leg, everything is secured to the belt. And with a QLS fork, I can use different firearms if I want to, or if I have a malfunction with the holster, then I can just quickly remove it, invert the holster, and get rid of debris. However, with this holster only secured to this padded belt, it draws quite sloppy and slow. So I have a Safariland leg strap, elastic leg strap, which secures to my inner thigh. That way when I draw the handgun, then any sort of extra slack would be picked up by, and get caught on my thigh. Here we have a Eagle pouch, an Eagle canteen pouch, which is often found in U.S. Air Force and United States Marine Corps surplus, which does not have the side pockets. And because having the side pockets with a USGI, U.S. Army type canteen pouch for Molly, the little bulk on the sides will interfere with me getting a full firing grip on a handgun. Now, this does create a little bit of an issue with draws and makes the draw slower. However, to carry additional water or to carry utilities such as night vision goggles, I find it to be quite necessary and a compromise I'm willing to take. Here on the small of my back, we have a USGI IFAC 2. I like this because I can have a lot of medical on me and also can have a external tourniquet secured to it. Having it on top creates a tighter center of gravity, doesn't flop around as much. I need to go find a pair of shears and tuck it in here, but so far I'm quite happy with this sort of setup and it lasts me for a long time. I can withdraw it either with my left or right hand, and it contains your usual stuff you find in the Molly 2 IFAC. Over here, USGI canteen pouch. One side contains fire starting, redundant sources of fire starting, which includes a Bic lighter with tape wrapped around it, as well as water-resistant matches and regular matches. On the other side, I have a vial of iodine tablets. Then I have a USGI 1-quart canteen inside of a canteen cup with the canteen cup stand, in case I was able to find tinder or Esbit tablets and put it underneath. Over here, we have a direct action medium dump pouch with a direct action rifle magazine holder. I really like this because with this particular pouch, I have the utility of a dump pouch while still it being slim, and I can still utilize the space to carry one extra rifle magazine, both of a AR-15 variety, and I can also fit in other magazine types such as an AK. One thing I almost forgot, in between a Glock field knife, which is quite handy to have. They're durable, they're inexpensive, I like them. I can use it to batten wood, I can use it as a field knife or a defensive weapon of last resort. Over here, for my pistol magazines, I have a double pistol pouch from HSGI. I use that to secure it to the belt itself. With that, I can carry 2 pistol magazines. Some drawbacks I find is that with extended magazines, they can fall out easily. If I'm crawling into prone or if things get snagged on the magazine, such as from a dangler pouch of a chest rig or a plate carrier, I might lose a magazine. However, I can find very quick draws with this particular type of magazine pouch with the HSGI Tacos. Here we have our belt system. Over that, a plate carrier, as well as a ballistic helmet and some other things. Let's go do some drills. So I'm going to go do a drill to demonstrate this sort of belt system in work with and without body armor. So there is a drill that is found on the latest Civilian Principles video, Rifle and Gear Breakdown, which talks about a super safety rifle as well as a hypothetical Red Dawn situation involving blue helmets and Chinese paratroopers, which I made a video responding to that over here. Regardless, I'm going to go try and do this drill. Yeah, I know it's been months after the video has come out or the challenge window, but trying to secure a 150-yard area that is open with a sight line is difficult. So how the drill works, as far as I remember, would be from 10 yards away to go and shoot a C-zone target in 5 shots, and then run 150 yards away, go into prone, and shoot at an A-zone of a target from that distance with 5 shots. And accuracy and time will be judged and scored. And I'll do it with demonstrating both the standalone belt kit as well as having a full armor system, which includes an armored chest rig as well as a ballistic helmet. So let's get right to it. Oh shit. Beep. Here are results of our drill with body armor and our belt kit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 8 in the A zone, 2 in the C zone. More than adequate for the drill, but our timing has suffered a bit just because of the difficulty with body armor and trying to crawl into a very awkward position. I don't have very long sight lines with flat ground, and having to maneuver around rocks and other obstacles is a pain. Okay. A lot easier to do. Didn't have much in the way. It also wasn't high noon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have about the same level of accuracy, but probably a better time. I don't know for certain, but that's what I did with the unarmored run. So what are some drawbacks with this particular belt system? Well, it's not as fast as your direct action or competition belt. You have stuff that would interfere with the draw of a pistol. And on the other hand, it doesn't provide as much sustainability or ammunition capacity as a full sustainment belt system. Like I say, it's a compromise for a particular set of goals and requirements. It's also not cheap. Many of these particular components must be commercially sourced and oftentimes on the secondhand market cannot be found. I got very lucky. I found the core belt of a HSGI inner and outer belt system inexpensively, and from a time during COVID where buying a new system out there would have a 52-week backlog. That wasn't good. A lot of it was just draw and finding pieces that I found I worked, didn't work, replace it, tweak, and refine. This type of suspenders out there, the Cry ones, I find to be excellent, but also it's Cry. I've seen people try and do a similar concept with knockoff Chinese versions, and they just simply don't work. They fall apart. Go with genuine Cry suspenders. Whereas a small waist like mine, belt systems in general suffer when trying to put stuff on it. That's a fact, and when things are bunched up together, it creates pouches that are too tight for it to be easily used that can be drawn and withdrawn, such as that of a USGI canteen pouch. On this belt system, it's like just squeezed in too tight, which makes it difficult for me to insert the canteen cup and the canteen cup stand without taking my armor system and belt off, which is very annoying and not ideal if you're in a situation where you need body armor. Other issues identified. Well, that with this particular canteen pouch, I may replace it with a Spitter Systems Nalgene 32-ounce pouch, which would be a bit slimmer, but I haven't tried that yet. Other issues I've identified is that this cannot be worn in conjunction with a everyday carry belt once you have pouches and a holster woven into the belt itself. You must take off and strip off all the pouches, remove the belt, wear the belt on slick, then throw on this belt system. But otherwise, for my own particular needs, it works for me, where I would need to have a sidearm for quick draw and access, such as in a two-gun competition, or if I'm carrying just a sidearm as a primary weapon, while having additional things such as water on me. And it works great, especially in a wide range of adverse weather conditions, whether it be very, very hot and I don't need the armor vest, or the armor vest would be hazardous for a heat stroke, or in extremely cold environments where I need to wear a multi-layered cold weather system. So I'd recommend it. It's something for you to consider it. It works for me, but will work for you. It's something you have to try and experiment with yourself. Thank you very much for watching.